Cohh here with a bit of a different kind of video. We are doing a new news video. These are going to be relatively sporadic, but they're going to be here and there whenever we have big weeks of news in gaming. It's going to be pretty much revolving around streaming and gaming in general, things that may be pertinent to the channel, things that may be pertinent to us as gamers, and basically anything that we may find interesting or that we might want to bring up. Let's get started. Now, this is kind of incredible. We did a sponsored stream recently for a game called Visions of Mana. Seriously, like there's a VTuber named Iron Mouse, and that could be Iron Mouse. Now, the game itself didn't end up being for me. It was very cutesy, super anime. However, I am fully under the understanding and awareness that that's lots of people's thing. And when I played Visions of Mana, one of the things I said when I got to the end is I actually kind of wish I was more into this stuff because the game itself is pretty great. Like the game itself seemed fun. A lot of QOL, really drop in, drop out combat, huge class system, all sorts of fun stuff. So anyway, needless to say, I finished the sponsor stream and I was like, okay, well, good luck to these guys. Obviously, this is probably going to do pretty well, and we'll leave it at that. The next day, the studio closed. Yeah, that's how I felt when I heard it too. Now, there has been this kind of trend in layoffs that's been going off over the last few years. It's been pretty terrible, but it is important to mention and talk about when these times happen, like what led to them and how they happened. And most importantly, in some cases, how we can prevent them, or in other cases, why they needed to happen for the industry to grow in different ways. Now, this is kind of a one-off case, and it kind of is more of an interesting trend than it is a direct thing. And let's talk about that a little bit. The people that made Visions of Mana are called Cohh Studios, and it is under Square Enix as kind of a publisher. Square Enix is attached to it, as you guys know. Even the old school Secrets of Mana, Square Enix. Now, what NetEase has been doing is over the last couple of years, they've actually been pulling funding out of Japanese companies and studios. One of their big reasons saying things like they haven't seen a big hit out of there for a while, and they're seeing them in other places. They want to diversify their funds and move them to other spots. This has been going on for a while. This is not something that just happened. And seeing Cohh Studios shut down is a symptom of that longer term plan. This studio shutting down was actually in plans before this title was even released for a while. So it's the kind of thing where this is definitely a bad thing for the industry, but it's a much larger scale than it is kind of like just a studio shutting down. This is a conglomerate withdrawing funds from a region, not just a specific thing. And also, as far as I understand, it's not that they're pulling it out of gaming as a whole, they're just putting it in other places. So hopefully we will see some studios pop up in other places from this. But of course, you know, when we're talking about NetEase, the sheer size of that corporation means that God only knows what's going to happen with this extra investment, but we'll all have to see. But that was unfortunately the situation with Cohh Studios. On top of that, though, we also have Rocksteady facing layoffs. Now, let's all be real. Although Suicide Squad was not necessarily a Concord, it is definitely a game that was having a very troubled launch. This is a game that was not selling well and was a relatively heavy IP license game. So it's the kind of thing where this kind of needed to make money. And it also had a long-term plan that it is now not fulfilling. So on that note, Rocksteady is, of course, unfortunately, being hit with some layoffs as the people that were trying to make the money did not make the money. In another section of game dev, we have the Until Dawn remake developer Ballistic confirming layoffs as well. The UK studio has spent years working on a rebuilt and enhanced version of the horror title, and it looks like it is not going to be working out. It says as of September 4th, Ballistic has confirmed a number of employees have been laid off. In a statement posted on LinkedIn, the company indicated it has struggled to navigate the complex challenges facing the game industry. I think that can generally be summed up as overall general suckiness, but of course the nuances are a bit more complex. And of course, we have Toadman, the company of Helldivers 2 and Dead Island 2, their support studio, which means that they aren't a direct studio doing the development, but they're a studio that helps kind of make all of the components and the assets used in other studios. With that being said, it does look like they confirmed on LinkedIn and explained that it would be making some redundancies and shutting its offices in Stockholm, Visby, and Oslo, unfortunately, due to a lack of work. Thankfully, one good thing about the game dev space is, although you do have the faceless corporation layoffs that do happen every so often, a lot of game dev is a spider web of really good people that like to see other good people land on their feet. So when we do see these fireworks of closures, it is important to notice that it is good to see these studios, and a lot of times other people and the community as a whole kind of step up and try to get these folks disseminated back into the game dev community as fast as they can. The best to these studios and developers, more rough seas in a time of rough weather. These are not the first and unfortunately definitely not the last closings we have seen. We will have to see how that goes. We have also had some products come out that are doing things a little bit differently, and that is awesome. One of those products is Deadlock, the new shooter from Valve. It is an FPS MOBA. Maybe? Let's go with that. It is basically kind of like a Smite, but with guns. I've not played it myself, but I'm hearing great things. We are seeing esports folks and peoples being switched over. In fact, some going as far as actually doing big announcement posts saying, I'm leaving XXX for Deadlock. I will see you there. And considering that we aren't even at the point that we were released yet, that's pretty encouraging. So it looks like we may definitely have a new kid on the block, which is very interesting because we are also having some other interesting and more unique shooters come out. One of them I actually invested in, called Spectre Divide. I don't have any involvement in the development of Spectre Divide. I'm just an investor. But this was a game that when they pitched me the idea months and months ago, sounded very cool. This is a game that's taking the kind of standard FPS formula, but adding this tactical element of having a kind of a clone that you can send out and have parked in different areas and doing different things. Kind of adds this more brain level to the normal Twitch gameplay of games like this. So definitely looks pretty cool. We're going to see how that's going to do. Unfortunately, now going up against the powerhouse that is Deadlock, also including a game called Supervive, which is doing very well. Both those games kind of in the same sphere as Deadlock. It'll be interesting to see how they all kind of handle that as we move forward. We also had the big new patch from Baldur's Gate 7. I currently have a Dark Urge Honor-ish run going on. I'm looking forward to returning to. Baldur's Gate Patch 7 added a bunch of things. They did kind of say they were doing one last big patch that we thought was going to be this, but then we also had a soft confirmation on Twitter that they're not done patching Baldur's Gate 3, so we'll kind of see what that means. They did some extended endings for the evil side. They added in a whole bunch more fun stuff, lots and lots of bug fixes, all sorts of things. We'll be visiting that more in detail when we return to our Baldur's Gate 3 Honor-ish run at some point in the future. Can't wait to do that. It's been awesome seeing the Larian team not only stand by BG3, but just continue developing the incredible vision that game is. So very, very cool stuff. We also had Black Myth Wukong come out. Now this game is frankly just awesome. We have some videos on both my long form and short form YouTube, Cohh and Morco, or CohhCarnage and Morco. And this game has been nothing short of just pure great awesomeness. It's been a lot of fun. It's an ARPG kind of like God of War. Lots of very interesting characters, some fantastic set pieces and designs. The combat is snappy. It does have a few little weird parts to it, but overall it's incredibly fun. It's very actiony, and so far people are loving it. It's also breaking sales and player records all over the place. So a great testament to some awesome stuff out of China, and big congrats to them, and looking forward to hopefully seeing more from them. We also, of course, had Warhammer Space Marine 2, which has been a blast. This game is visceral. It is Warhammer. It is for the Emperor, and there is not a speck of heresy. Just rebind it? Heresy. How dare you? You not rebind the Emperor's commands? Are you saying you know better than the Emperor? It is everything that a Warhammer fan could want from this in terms of setting and story and delivery. There are some issues on the technical side, as well as even some in combat and some of the action sequences. But overall, I think I can safely say that for Warhammer 40K fans especially, this is going to be a very, very special game. And one of the most, I would say, honest to IP interpretations we have ever seen of the Warhammer 40K universe. It is an incredible cinematic experience, and one that I very strongly recommend. Anyway, this has been a lot of fun. What do you guys think about this? So what we could do is maybe start doing like a little section on stream each week, where not only do I get suggestions from you guys, but also just big things that happened throughout the week. I can then give it to this awesome team of editors who are helping me on this channel, Cohh.tv/Morco, and we can maybe turn it into a little episode, keep you guys informed, maybe put it together and make a nice little big archive of news in the gaming space over the years. But anyway, if you liked it, let me know what you think. Share it around, because the more views and stuff these types of videos get, the more likely we're going to make more of them. And as always, very much appreciate your time. So thank you for coming to the Cohh News Network. Signing off over here from CNN. I don't know if that's trademarked, but anyway, appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.